Mercy House of the Southern Tier is seeking kitchen and companion volunteers to help out at the hospice center. Volunteers are asked to help out cooking and baking for patients while also connecting with individuals and families at the house. Mercy House has 200 active volunteers, and Executive Director Linda Serra says it cannot successfully perform its mission without them.
They give of themselves and they feel good about it, whether they're sitting with a resident, watching a movie, reading, just sitting there and quiet, and then of course baking in the kitchen and cooking, getting beverages for everybody.
Sarah says the Mercy House will need extra volunteers as the expansion project is set to finish in April, which will add up to 6 patients at a time. The link to apply can be found on our website, WBNG.com.